Hey people, what's going on? I had a job offer given to me tomorrow. Yesterday they informed me of a job fair because I want my money to stack up fast, and I want to take care of something that's pretty obvious to some people, but you'll see in a few months, hopefully. But anyway, I want to conclude the video where I talked about taking the stand. Now, I don't expect to get any bad comments, but if I do, I want to just remind you this. Most of your favorite rappers have in some way told, because if they don't tell on others, they tell on themselves. Those that tell on themselves will tell on you. If you talk about any crimes you do in songs, that right there is snitching on yourself. Every rapper I grew up listening to in some way or form has worked with the police. 50 Cent. It's not confirmed, but every person he beefs with goes to jail. Snoop Dogg. Every the murder trial that he was in, you telling me he was found not guilty, right? And he was in the car while it happened. You telling me he didn't possibly talk to any police? I mean, I don't care how much money you have, I never heard of somebody beating a murder without talking in some form or fashion. Taxstone wrote a letter to the judge. Taxstone was responsible for killing, Troy Ave's bodyguard. And Troy Ave told on Taxstone. Casanova denounced the Guerrilla Stone Nation, which is a form of snitching. Enrique Tarrio, local and federal informant. Al Sharpton, federal informant. Milana Karenj, founder of Kwanzaa, federal informant. Whitey Bulger, federal informant. So everybody you can think of that's pretty popular in some way, they have some kind of history of snitching, you know. So this is just like the conclusion of why I don't recommend you telling. I didn't think about this, but the detective that filed the police report, and he got the judge to sign off on the warrant and execute it, he got paid for doing that. Whenever police make an arrest, mostly detectives, that's how they make their money. That's how they, get paid. So, I don't think he really cared for the situation. It was more of him doing his job. Two, I was on my own when the preliminary hearing was over. That was it. I was on my own. All they gave me was a fucking piece of paper saying if he comes near you, call this number. So he could have got out of jail, found my address, he could have did whatever he wanted to me. And nothing happened. But I was a horrible person back then. I wasn't a good person. But I said this in one of my videos. A lot of black men who kill and hurt other black men, most of the time, it originates from a beef from another man or some drama with a female. You just don't want to have any long-lasting effects from a dispute or dying from that dispute. Like imagine the fact that you have kids and you're now in a wheelchair over an argument or something you did to another person. And every morning, your kids, when they get older, they may ask, Dad, you never told us how'd you end up in a wheelchair? And you look down and you just look, you tell your child, I messed with the wrong person. That's what happened. And that's a lot of that's 95, that's 50% of the times. 50% of the times in the hood when you see somebody in the wheelchair, not always, but that's why 50% of the times When someone is in a wheelchair or they're paralyzed in some kind of way from a shooting, they mess with the wrong person. They fuck with somebody. They got received backlash from it, and that's just the result. But I don't recommend going to the police if you don't have any money because you're on your own. It's very stressful, and it's not you're not always going to get the result that you want. Depending on where you are and your monetary status and your just your overall status, judges don't really cater to poor people unless you die. Unless there's a murder, yeah, they're going to jail for a long time. But anytime it's black on black crime, if it's in Chicago, Philly, New York, they always get out. I told you, the guy I had the situation with, he was released a day before his birthday. And he already was on probation. You have to post bail on probation, it has to be a non-violent offense, like a speeding ticket. You know, he committed well, he wasn't charged with a felony, but he was not after the arraignment they dropped the felony, but he was accused of a felony while being on probation. And you give somebody bail because he didn't really pay he didn't pay anything. What happened was the judge, and I remember the judges, Judge Palumbo, something like that. He was released on his own recognizance. And that's just why the city is the way it is. I don't have no intentions of going back. But these judges in the city, they don't give a damn about how things are. They really don't care. You may think being progressive is helping black people, but not really. Because they don't live in they don't live in these neighborhoods. The very people who fight for, criminal justice, like prison reform, bail reform, they don't live in these kind of communities. Meek Mills and all his advocacy for getting rid of parole and probation, he doesn't live in the hood anymore. He doesn't even go in Philadelphia. He's in Los Angeles now. But I don't recommend telling anybody anything if you're not mentally like ready to deal with the repercussions of telling on somebody. Don't go to the police. I mean, I'm almost thousands of miles away, and well, yeah, I'm thousands of miles away, and I'm doing another part to it.